I'm Taryn, this is Logan, and this is Max. Our life rarely goes as planned, and this story is no different. But we are determined to rebuild our beautiful steel boat, even stronger than she was before. And we're bringing you along with us. So today is the day that we weld inside the water tank. So Logan's going to go in there with the stick welder, and he's going to weld all the spots that were low. He's just going to spot weld it, or pad weld it. And I'm going to be outside chipping paint off and spraying the hull with water when the paint burns. Once that's done, we're going to have to go in there and grind the welds down, and then it should be pretty much ready for being sandblasted and then painted again. But it's not a comfy area to get into, and I don't think either of us are really looking forward to it, but it'll be really nice to have it done. There was just no way to get into these tanks and be comfortable. They are small and awkward spaces, and it took some creativity to get in there and to get the job done. Well, this is not going the best today. Turns out that there's more spots than we thought, or Logan's at least hitting pretty much everything, because it's really hard to see how deep they are. And also, his welder is shut off on him twice now, and the compressor just shut off on him. So, a bit of a frustrating day. Obviously, we are getting stuff done, but it's not without some definite frustrations. But luckily, this should be the last big frustrating thing on the hull, and then it'll just be on to littler projects, so that should go easier after this. Fingers crossed. But this might be a couple days instead of one like we'd hoped, so. Yep, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's hard to see how far you have to go with the pitting, because it's there's small areas, maybe that is the biggest area.
Yeah.
And it's not all pitted really bad. There'll be deeper pits within that. Mm-hmm. So I've tried to, you can't weld something this big, solid welds on a piece of 3/16, or the whole thing will just suck right in when it cools down. So I think I've got it as best as we can. We're almost out of rod. We've used an entire box of rod between the two hull plates that we did and this job. Got maybe 10 more rods left. But yeah, I think I've got all the pitting done. We'll have to grind it tomorrow. Grind it down kind of flush, because the potable water tank coating that we're using it needs to have a flat surface, because it is 100% solids and it has no solvents in it, so you can't thin it out. It's a really, really thick paint, so it's not going to go into all the crevices and stuff. So we have to grind everything, make sure that there's no crevices or undercut around the welds. But yeah, what a nightmare. That tank is harder to get into than I thought. I'm sure glad those hatches are as big as they are. You can see the pitting is on either side of here. Like there's still quite a bit of pitting here and here and here.
Oh yeah.
Like there's lots of it, but I don't know how deep it is because I can't see in there to measure it. See, there's a deep pit right there. This whole area is really bad. Like it's not really bad, but it's
not great.
Like that one there. That side of the tank is fine, but on both ends, because where the hatch is, it's quite narrow. Mm-hmm. So there's not even enough for a helmet to get in. Like, here's the helmet, and it won't go in that way, and it catches going in that way.
Yeah, that's annoying.
So you have to put the helmet inside the hole and then stick your arms above your head and then put your head into the helmet, reach over and tighten it up, and then have all your welding rods in the bottom and be able to twist them onto the stinger.
Right.
Not to mention that there's not enough area to lay on. Like,
yeah.
We can't just like lay down and pivot around the hole to be able to do it. It's all got to be done from one direction, so looking down and looking up, and
yeah, it's really uncomfortable.
Oh man,
in here.
It's ridiculous.
But this wasn't everything. We still had to weld crevices on the sides of the tank, and in order to do that, we needed to move a bunch of stuff out of the way and take apart even more of the boat. So what you doing?
Tearing this out so that we can cut a hole in the floor and cut out the piece of wood that's glued to the water tank so we can do the welding at the back, because it has to be done.
And this is our only access. It's through here, but it's not an access right now.
Cutting into more stuff that I didn't want to cut into.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got it. Well, that came out easy.
One nail holding it in.
Perfect. Nice. Oh, it was a little glued.
Cleanest cut I've ever seen in my life.
100%.
That's solid. I'm proud of that.
It did the job.
Yeah. Looks fine underneath. So we'll just fix this corner, which doesn't look fine.
Definitely rusty.
Hopefully it doesn't require welding. Oh, we'll have to hit that with the air hammer.
I mean, it doesn't look fantastic. Hard to tell.
Yeah, I think it'd be okay.
Wow, nice.
Okay, we have to be careful stepping on this floor now. There's nothing supporting it.
Okay.
So you can step back here on the other side of this.
Okay.
You see these screw heads?
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's right here in between these two. I could almost take that out of there. That's cool. Oh, that's nice. Now we have access to weld all that.
Cool.
And then we can repaint it afterwards.
Yay!
Fuck.
What?
That one right up at the top
Yeah.
is still behind stuff.
Of course it is.
Fuck, you just can't win with this boat. That's okay. It's only a small one. We'll do the exact same thing. So, to be able to weld... Oh man, it's hard to stand here. To be able to weld the ends of the tanks, the forward and aft ends, we need to remove the plywood out of... that's glued onto them. And to remove that plywood, we need to remove a few things out of the way. We've done, like, we have a few more brackets to remove, and then I think this plywood can come off here. But down in the very corner of, like, the back outside corner of the tank, there's a bit of pitting, and we can't tell how the tank was built. Whether it's built along a rib, and I don't know whether the wall of the tank continues down past the rib and is welded to the hull or not. It's definitely not the way I would have built it, but I don't really know. So we have to cut out a bit more wood from inside the electrical cabinet. Like pretty much right down in this corner here. Yeah, so we've got that one to do for this end, and then the aft end, I think we're going to try and pull the support that the floor is sitting on out from underneath the floor without removing the floor, if that makes sense. And it's just a couple of screws, and I think the support that the floor sits on has actually come unglued from the back of the tank. So that sort of makes things easier for us. And yeah, that's what we're going to work on today, and maybe do some welding, but it's like supposed to be into the low 30s today. Temperature wise, and it's cool enough out right now we can do it, but later on it might be not so cool.
So I might wait till tomorrow.
So it might be a tomorrow thing. Also, we just got back from an awesome... Yeah, tomorrow we should get an earlier jump on this and and be able to get the welding done and the grinding.
But then this decision was made.
So the forward side of the tank, we're not going to take the wood off. We're going to try and weld it because it's a strip of teak that goes under and holds the floor up. We can't remove the floor without stripping the galley. It's glued on, like the glue that's squirting out from all sides is pretty good indication that there's no way we're getting that piece of wood off. That, and it's not in an accessible place to remove, so if it heats up enough that the glue all melts and we can pry it off, we'll take it off, but otherwise we're just going to weld, spray it down with water to cool it off, and just keep doing that until we either finish or need to remove it.
Alright, so we're just about to get in and do the last of the welding in that water tank. This is going to be the hardest as far as controlling fire, the hardest as far as actually getting in there and getting the welding done, but then that'll be the last of the welding on the hull, and the only welding we'll have left to do is to weld on vents and stuff. So that's exciting. So I'm going to be in there with both a water tank that I can spray on stuff if it starts to light on fire, and a fire extinguisher. And Logan is going to be inside the tanks welding with the stick welder again. And we only have about 10 sticks left, so hopefully that's all we need to do this. I'm going to be moving around quite a bit. He's going to be crying. Not actually, but he's going to be in pain, all squished into those holes, poor guy. So it'll be very, very good to have this over with and be done with the difficult, uncomfortable spaces. So let's get at it.
Finished, well, what we hope is finished for the welding of the water tank. That was pretty much the worst day yet, and it's only noon. I definitely never want to do that again.
What made it so terrible?
Not being able to reach, see, breathe, or anything else. Burnt myself several times, and it was just miserable. So I think that's gonna be it for welding on the water tank. So we just have to do the grinding now and sandblast it, which is gonna be what is my worst nightmare at this point.
Because it's going to be so hard to get in there? Or?
No, it's going to be impossible to get in there. Not just hard. It's not going to be possible.
So we're just going to have spots that aren't sandblasted within the water tank then?
I guess. I honestly can't tell you how it's going to go. I just know that it is going to be the worst job that we have to do. Pretty over this. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say.
Join us next week when things are looking up as we get some more projects knocked off the list and move closer to paint. Thanks so much for watching, liking, and subscribing, and an extra big shout out to our patrons for helping us out along the way.